Now, for more on this, I am joined in the studio by Deidre from the Moscow newspaper. Thank you for joining me today, Deidre.
Thank you, Rory.
There's been a series of scandals involving Russian police as of late. Do you think this reflects the real, just bad condition of the country's law enforcement bodies?
Well, I think there's a series of scandals in many countries, in police departments generally. After 9/11 in America, we certainly had a bigger increase in police brutality and these kinds of incidents, including sexual assault incidents. I don't know. I do think that perhaps in Russia we have lower standards of control, but I don't think it's a particularly unique Russian problem. And I don't think it reflects a terrible police force. I still trust the police force here in Russia. I consider this to be a bad apple situation. That's one of the theories, and it's one I subscribe to, that in any police force you will have a few rogue police officers.
Well, Russia's Interior Ministry has announced a major police overhaul. Do you think the measures are effective?
I think it's too soon to tell, but I think they can be. Measures like increasingly vigilant psychological testing when people come in. The police officers have extremely stressful jobs that we probably can't even comprehend. Their lives are in constant danger, so maybe more psychological counseling. Oversight committees seem to work very well from what I've read, and these kinds of measures can be very effective, but they can't be very effective in a year. They can't be very effective in a month. But I think, particularly since the shooting, public awareness has been much more raised to the problems we're having, but also the government's awareness has been raised, and they have instituted measures which will certainly alleviate the problem.
Well, when the reputation of the police has been hit, and certainly to this extent, what needs to be done to restore trust in the police?
Well, I mean, I think I can certainly help. I mean, every incident and every interaction I've had with the police in Russia since I've been here has been a positive one, a very professional one. There's a story I once told in my column about how I had been chased down the street by a police officer. It was when I first got here, and I thought, oh, he's shaking me down. You know, all Westerners think they're going to get shaken down. And I had just dropped 2,000 rubles, and all he wanted to do was give it back to me. You know, and I once had a break-in, and the police were there instantaneously, treated me very professionally, searched the building thoroughly, and, you know, it would be like in any other country. So I don't think we need to mistrust all police officers who are generally out there, honest police officers who are trying to protect us because of a few bad apples. Now, maybe a lot of bad apples this year, but even then, not that many. I read a study once, I think in 1999, over 400,000 people in the United States complained about some form of police brutality or sexual abuse or intimidation.
I was going to raise that subject because in America, not only do you have just a mass saturation of police forces all throughout the country, but there are, on a daily basis, if not weekly basis, there are numerous reports of brutality and unjust treatment.
And sexual abuse and rape. I remember in 2007 there was a series of rapes all over the country by police officers. And I do think that it's not a problem for the Russian police force so much as it is for police forces.
Yeah, indeed.
And there are a lot of theories about how you control that. Again, the bad apple theory, I subscribe to that. But there are also theories that because they're hierarchical, authoritarian organizations, that you can't avoid them getting a us against them mentality. That's psychology that can be dealt with in the departments.
And again, at the end of the day, their job is to serve and protect.
And I think they want to, Rory.
Deidre from Moscow newspaper, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.